the premise behind this is that, we can remember everything by accessing that part of our minds, that inner part, the unconscious or the subconscious. And past life regression does depend on, belief in the concept of reincarnation. Now, having the experience is not contingent on belief. In fact, some of my clients who come in not believing in any of this stuff end up having some of the most mind-blowing experiences, mostly because they have no expectation and they're just kind of open-minded. I call that kind of a healthy skeptic. So, going back to our previous lifetimes is the past life regression. The way that we do that is actually through a technique, a process called hypnosis. And I'm really trying hard to break up with using that term to describe myself, because most people are scared of me when I tell them I'm a hypnotist, especially men. They feel like there's a mind control aspect that kind of goes with that. This Hollywood version of you have someone under your spell. I mean, it really doesn't work like that. I would be a lot more successful than I am if that were true. Or my kids would be in bed and have their teeth brushed every night by 8. There's no mind control involved with it. So it is actually, and I'll get more into this in a little bit, it is actually more closely related to meditation, guided imagery. So hopefully that takes the fear factor out of it for some people. It is a voluntary experience. So whatever happens today will be what you allow yourself to experience. Now, some people didn't get a good night's sleep last night, maybe you're out with your friends too late, or you're worried about somewhere you have to be after. I mean, there are various factors that can affect our ability to kind of relax fully, right, obviously. So, keeping those factors in mind, we'll kind of go over, before we do a first regression, kind of some ideas to help people be more successful, some things to think about. One of the reasons that we would want to do a past life regression, and I say this to a lot of people, it's one thing to read something and to believe it, and it's another thing to experience it directly. So maybe many of you are here today because you believe in past lives, you believe that that's true, but have you experienced it? That's different. Then it becomes your own truth. And I believe truth to be a personal concept. What's true for me might not be true for you. So this is an opportunity to kind of find your own truth. Most people leave a private session with me scratching their head like, I don't know if we ever can definitively prove the existence of past lives. This is my life's work and I'm still relatively young. If we can, I'm on board. I don't know if we can. They leave kind of going, it was really, kind of strange. But yet, everyone leaves knowing what it meant in their life right now. So perhaps, you remember being a pirate in a past life. And you're kind of like, I really love the Pirates of the Caribbean. I go to the Bahamas and I've been into that museum, the pirate ship, that's the museum, which my 7-year-old son loves. That might make sense to you on a certain level. It's one thing to kind of believe that you were a pirate in a past life, or go to a psychic and a psychic tells you that. And it's another thing to experience it directly. So to smell the sea air, to feel, the swaying of the boat. This is a multi-sensory experience. Some people have physical sensation, hot, cold. Certainly, though, the emotion, what it felt like to be that pirate, So that's kind of one thing to discover your own truth, I think, is a really important part of it. And a lot of people come in, with something specific in mind that they want to uncover, and that's kind of the side effect. They're like, wow, it deepens your belief. So then there's also an understanding that happens. Like I said, on a surface level, okay, maybe you like Indian food or you hate sushi, understanding why we do things. And this kind of is a segment too that can also be its own whole workshop of the power of the unconscious mind, how the unconscious mind rules our lives. They say that we use 10% of our brains. I've heard 12. I don't know how much, but that is a whole lot of space that we're not using. That actually rules most of our behavior. The things that we like, dislike, the things we just kind of doing unconsciously. So the idea behind a past life regression is to go in and make the unconscious conscious. Then you're understanding. You know, this is why I worked with a girl last week who just moved to New York and she can't ride the subway. She just can't do it. And you can't live in New York if you can't ride the subway. It's just, she had panic attacks, would have like severe symptoms even, and so she would understand that there was a story that happened to her in a past life. The story connected with that was actually that she was working, building the railroad and was using explosives to kind of, explode the rock, and was digging underneath and had gotten trapped. So that underground stone train, these things were kind of triggering it. By understanding that, she was able to heal it. So one of the biggest practical applications are people with phobias, okay? So phobias are one of those things like you don't know why you do it. Like I said, this is the unconscious part of us. And sometimes, sometimes we think, okay, it's a little bit funny, but for people who are dealing with these things, I mean, like people who have an inexplicable fear of sharp objects, I mean, these are things that completely rule their lives, keep them from enjoying the present, right? I work with a lot of people who have claustrophobia issues, strange ones even, like, that make no sense, but then when you find the past life story with it, then it makes sense. People heal phobias quickly. I mean, I've had people who have dealt with things their entire lives in 20 minutes. It's gone. I've had now 5 people's therapists call me and ask me what I did. And I tell them, I say, I don't know how it works, but this is what happened. Their mind was able to heal itself. And I believe that all healing is actually self-healing, that we do heal ourselves. Sometimes when we're doing this past life work, you'll see someone in your past life that you feel a connection to, and it's a romantic connection. I've had, I have 9 weddings that have happened from people, and I haven't been doing this in 6 years. That's a lot. People who were single, who came to me wanting to know if there's ever anyone out there for them, and then saw someone in their past life, and then later met them. Now, chances are, if you do see someone in your past life that is a romantic, that you feel a strong connection to, I even hear people describe it's someone they miss. Like I just wish I missed them, I wish I could talk to them. Chances are, if you do see that, you will meet that person. Because I just don't think our spirit guides and destiny is that cruel to kind of be like dangling the carrot, like, here's the greatest soulmate of the millennium. Oh, but you're not going to meet them in this life. I don't think they would show you something different, right? So 9 weddings. I have 6 babies now. I had 5, and there were 6 actually the other day. Were people who were looking to conceive, but had died in a past life in childbirth, and then after removing that fear, were able to get pregnant. So this is rewarding work as far as what I see people step into in their future by getting rid of the stuff in their past. Sometimes people who are soulmates will have the toughest lesson to deliver to us. That one that'll bring us to our knees. I've found that it is sometimes not the bad soulmate, as the term bad, but some of our most loving soulmates who come, who will be like, have these, I call them spirit contracts. So we kind of like are in the life before this one, and we're kind of all hanging out, and we're spirits, and we're making plans, right? We're planning. Kind of like, you know what, we're going to reincarnate, we're going to end up in the same dorm room in college, and I'm going to steal your boyfriend, and it's really going to break your heart. But it's okay, because it's going to lead you to this, this, and this in the future, right? So you might be like, oh, I hate that girl. Hate her. Well, she gave you a gift and a blessing. So it's kind of like, by knowing that, you're able to kind of not see it as, you know, she's the enemy. There's a layer of understanding, and it is a lot like kind of, you know, a window where you see like these curtains, you're kind of looking through, you only see this. This work helps you kind of bring the curtains wide, and then you can see that there is a bigger picture, that it's not just this one life, that there's a journey happening over many, many lifetimes. So that perspective is valuable.